When it comes to U.S. geography, Florida often flies under the radar, but it is arguably one of the most diverse and unique places in America. Florida is a goldmine of American history, record-breaking features, and some of the most unique landscapes you'll find anywhere in the world. From the fierce hurricanes that sculpt its shores to the mysterious Everglades, countless lakes, and one of the longest coastlines in the country, the Sunshine State is packed with countless mind-blowing features. So get ready, because these 50 facts will change the way you see Florida forever. But first, if you love learning about the craziest, most unbelievable places on Earth, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest videos. At number 1. Florida sits on a massive ancient ocean floor formed from prehistoric sea life. This limestone foundation developed 25 million years ago when the entire region lay completely underwater. The rock beneath Florida consists of billions of compressed sea creatures, coral skeletons, and shells fused together over millions of years. Construction crews regularly uncover whale bones the size of cars, giant turtle shells, and teeth from prehistoric sharks bigger than school buses. This unique, porous foundation directly shapes Florida's landscape by creating its extensive underground aquifer system, the dramatic formation of sinkholes, and the thousands of clear freshwater springs that define so much of the state. Number 2. St. Petersburg holds the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive days of sunshine in America. The city recorded 768 consecutive days of sunshine between February 9, 1967 and March 17, 1969. This achievement earned St. Petersburg the nickname Sunshine City and proved that Florida really does live up to its reputation as the Sunshine State. With 350-plus sunny days per year on average, thanks to its peninsula location, St. Petersburg often sees clouds move on before turning into rain, making it a popular destination for those seeking an outdoor lifestyle and plenty of sunshine. At number 3. The state of Florida has the second longest coastline in the U.S., surpassed only by Alaska. The Sunshine State boasts 2,170 kilometers of beaches, but counting every inlet, bay, and barrier island, Florida's total shoreline stretches over 13,500 kilometers. That's more coastline than the entire west coast of America combined. This immense tidal shoreline creates countless estuaries where fresh rivers meet salty seas. The complex coastline results from Florida's unique position between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, creating diverse marine environments. Number 4. The Florida Everglades is technically a river, the world's slowest and widest. This river of grass creeps along at just 30 centimeters per day from Lake Okeechobee to Florida's southern coast. It forms a 97-kilometer-wide sheet of water moving south through endless sawgrass marshes. You could walk faster than this massive river flows. Unlike most rivers, which follow narrow, defined channels, the Everglades water moves as a wide, gentle flow that nourishes a vast network of wetlands and marshes. This slow, steady movement supports an incredible diversity of plant and animal life, including many endangered species, and plays a crucial role in recharging aquifers and maintaining Florida's delicate environmental balance. The Everglades eventually make their way to Florida's southern coast, where fresh water blends with salt water, creating vital estuaries and habitats. Number 5. Florida sits atop one of the world's most productive underground water supplies called the Floridan Aquifer. This hidden freshwater ocean beneath the Sunshine State supplies clean drinking water for nearly 10 million people across multiple states. It functions like a massive underground lake that never runs dry, constantly refilled by rainfall soaking through Florida's porous limestone over thousands of years. The aquifer feeds over 700 named springs, maintaining constant temperatures year-round. These springs create crystal-clear windows into underground rivers, producing billions of liters of fresh water daily and supporting unique ecosystems found nowhere else on Earth. Number 6. The St. Johns River is Florida's longest river at approximately 500 kilometers. What makes this waterway unique is that it flows north instead of south like most rivers. This massive waterway flows from Melbourne to Jacksonville while dropping only 9 meters in total elevation. The landscape is so flat that the river barely knows which direction to flow, creating a lazy waterway that breathes with Atlantic tides. The St. John River drains 22,300 square kilometers of central and northeast Florida. Its slow flow and minimal elevation change create extensive wetlands and diverse ecosystems along its path through the state. Number 7. Florida has more sinkholes than any other state in the United States. West central regions around Tampa experience some of the highest sinkhole activity in the country. These geological surprises can open overnight and swallow houses, cars, swimming pools, even entire buildings within hours. The Tampa Bay area sits in Sinkhole Alley, Florida's most unstable ground where porous limestone dissolves beneath the surface. Sinkholes form when slightly acidic groundwater dissolves limestone bedrock, creating underground cavities. When these cavities grow large enough, the overlying surface collapses. Florida's geology makes it particularly susceptible to this natural phenomenon, with new sinkholes forming regularly across the state. Number 8. Florida is flatter than a pancake, proven mathematically by scientists. The highest point in the entire state is Britton Hill at just 105 meters above sea level. That's barely taller than a 30-story building. You could stack 15 Britton Hills and still not reach Denver's elevation. This gentle relief creates thousands of swamps, sloughs, and marshes where water moves slowly across the land. The flat terrain results from Florida's geological history as an ancient seafloor. This flatness influences everything from river flow patterns to hurricane storm surge penetration, making Florida unique among American states for its remarkably level topography throughout most regions. Number 9. Jacksonville is the biggest city by total area in the mainland United States, covering 2,264 square kilometers. Jacksonville is larger than New York City, Chicago, and Philadelphia combined. You could fit San Francisco inside Jacksonville about 18 times with room left over. This scale traces to 1968, when Jacksonville consolidated with Duval County, creating a municipality containing urban neighborhoods, pine flatwoods, and stretches of the St. Johns River. The consolidation created a unique governmental structure managing both city services and county functions. Jacksonville's vast area includes beaches, urban cores, suburban developments, and natural preserves, making it one of America's most geographically diverse cities. Number 10. Florida contains over 7,700 natural lakes scattered across its landscape. The largest, Lake Okeechobee, covers 1,900 square kilometers and is exceptionally shallow for a lake of its size, averaging only 2.7 meters deep. It's so huge you can't see across it. The lake is especially sensitive to wind conditions. Strong winds frequently stir up sediments from the lakebed, causing the water to become cloudy and impacting water quality. The lake serves as the liquid heart of the Everglades system, historically sending sheet flow south through the River of Grass before human modifications altered natural water patterns. Number 11. Florida has more freshwater springs than anywhere else on Earth, with over 1,000 springs bubbling from the ground. These springs pump crystal clear water at a constant 22 degrees Celsius year-round, regardless of surface temperatures. Some of Florida's largest springs produce 2.8 billion liters of fresh water daily. Springs like Wakula, Ichitukni, and Silver Springs are windows into vast underground cave networks tapping rainfall across the karst region. The consistent temperature and flow create unique ecosystems for different species, including manatees, clustered in the warm spring waters during the winter. Number 12. Florida's distinctive geography as a long, narrow peninsula gives it a unique coastal character. Remarkably, no point in the entire state is ever more than 103 kilometers from a saltwater coastline. This means that wherever you are in Florida, the ocean is never far away. The state's most inland location is Polk County, situated roughly 103 kilometers from both the Gulf of Mexico on the west and the Atlantic Ocean on the east. Number 13. Florida's east coast enjoys consistently warm beaches year-round, thanks largely to the powerful Gulf Stream ocean current. This warm Atlantic current flows from the Gulf of Mexico up along Florida's eastern shoreline, transporting tropical heat northward and moderating temperatures even during the winter months. The Gulf Stream's influence is a key factor in creating Florida's distinctive tropical climate, characterized by mild winters and hot, humid summers. Number 14. Florida contains 4 completely different worlds packed into one peninsula. You've got flat coastal plains along the beaches, rolling hills covered in ancient oak trees up north, the massive Everglades swamp ecosystem in the south, and tropical coral islands down in the Keys. Each region looks and feels like a different planet with unique wildlife and landscapes. In the north, it feels like the Deep South, with pine forests, rivers, and small towns rooted in Southern culture. Central Florida is theme park country, home to Orlando's global tourism industry. South Florida is a mix of Caribbean and Latin American influence, from Miami's Cuban culture to the Keys island lifestyle. And out west, the Gulf Coast offers white sand beaches and slower-paced coastal living. Few states pack so many different worlds into one. Number 15. The Big Cypress Swamp contains ancient trees over 600 to 1,000 years old. These giant cypress trees were already massive centuries ago, creating some of the most pristine ancient wilderness remaining in the Sunshine State. Walking through these ancient swamps is like stepping back in time to see Florida before cities existed. The tea-colored water comes from tannins leached from cypress bark and leaves, creating a beautiful contrast with Florida's typically crystal-clear springs. Big Cypress serves as a crucial water recharge area and wildlife corridor. These ancient trees have survived hurricanes, fires, and even human encroachment. Number 16. One of the longest drives within a U.S. state without leaving its boundaries is in Florida, 1,408 kilometers from the Panhandle to Key West. This marathon road trip takes you through completely different ecosystems, from pine forests in the north to tropical coral islands in the south. It's like driving through multiple states while never leaving the Sunshine State. The journey spans 2 time zones, 4 distinct geographic regions, and countless unique landscapes showcasing Florida's diversity within a single peninsula. You'll cross major rivers, traverse vast wetlands, and island hop through the Keys, experiencing everything from Appalachian-influenced hills to Caribbean-style coral reefs in one continuous drive. At number 17. Florida is America's lightning capital, with the highest lightning strike density in the United States, averaging 76 lightning flashes per square kilometer annually. Sea breeze collisions over the peninsula make the Central Corridor a global hotspot for summertime thunderstorms. 2 sea breeze fronts, one from the Gulf and one from the Atlantic, march inland and collide over Central Florida most summer afternoons. That collision lifts humid air sharply, building towering cumulonimbus clouds, creating nature's daily fireworks show. The I-4 corridor between Tampa and Orlando sees particularly intense lightning activity. Florida also experiences more lightning fatalities than any other state, making it both spectacular and dangerous. Number 18. Florida is home to one of the world's largest and deepest freshwater springs, Wakulla Springs. This natural wonder plunges to depths over 185 meters, with crystal-clear water so pure you can see straight down to massive underwater cave systems. Wakulla Springs maintains a constant temperature of 21 degrees Celsius year-round and produces millions of gallons of fresh water daily. When water clarity peaks, glass-bottom boats float over eelgrass meadows and limestone ledges, creating an otherworldly experience. The spring system connects to an extensive underwater cave network stretching 4 kilometers beneath North Florida. Divers explore these underwater passages, discovering new chambers and connections regularly. Number 19. Florida experiences extremely few earthquakes, making it one of the most geologically stable states in America. The Sunshine State sits on such stable limestone bedrock that significant earthquakes are virtually unknown. The same porous limestone creating Florida's sinkholes and springs also provides a remarkably stable foundation. This geological stability makes Florida the most seismically quiet major state in America, with tremors so rare most residents never feel one during their lifetime. Number 20. The Florida Everglades is the only place where American alligators and American crocodiles coexist in the same habitat. This unique ecosystem provides perfect conditions for both species to thrive side by side. Alligators rule the freshwater marshes and rivers, while crocodiles stick to the brackish waters near Florida Bay. Nowhere else do these 2 ancient reptiles share the same ecosystem, making the Everglades one of the world's rarest and most remarkable habitats. Number 21. Florida is one of the most popular states for foreign tourists and home to Walt Disney World, the most visited vacation resort on the planet. The Sunshine State's unique geographic location, year-round warm climate, and diverse attractions make it America's premier international tourism destination. Florida welcomes more foreign visitors than almost any other state, serving as America's gateway to the Caribbean and Latin America. The state's tourism industry is built on its geography, from Atlantic beaches to Gulf sunsets, from Everglades wildlife to coral reefs. Tourism contributes over $130 billion annually to Florida's economy, supporting millions of jobs and making it one of the state's most important industries. Number 22. Florida is the only state bordering both the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. This unique geographic position creates completely different beach experiences on each coast. The Gulf side has tiny tides barely changing by 0.9 meters, creating calm, lake-like conditions perfect for swimming and seagrass meadows. Meanwhile, the Atlantic side has much larger tides, changing up to 1.8 meters, creating different wave conditions and beach experiences. The Atlantic's higher energy builds steeper beaches, while the Gulf's calm waters foster wide sandbars. This dual-coast geography gives Florida residents and visitors access to two completely different marine environments within the same state. Number 23. The southernmost city in the United States is Key West, Florida. This tropical paradise sits just 145 kilometers from Cuba, making it closer to Havana than to Miami. Key West represents the southern tip of the United States, marked by a famous concrete buoy photographed by thousands annually. But here's the twist. The famous concrete buoy at the corner of South and Whitehead Streets is a popular tourist landmark, but it is not the true southernmost point of either the continental US or even the island of Key West. The actual geographical southernmost point on the island is on US Navy property and is not accessible to the public. The southernmost point of the continental United States is on a privately owned island called Ballast Key, located southwest of Key West. Number 24. Florida has the third largest population in the United States, with over 1,000 people moving to the Sunshine State daily. That's like adding an entire small town to Florida's population every day. People are drawn by warm weather, no state income tax, and booming job markets in places like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa Bay. This steady wave of new arrivals adds nearly 400,000 people each year, reshaping cities, expanding suburbs, and making Florida one of the fastest-growing states in America. Number 25. Florida has the only living coral reef in the entire mainland United States. The Florida Reef is a 563-kilometer reef system that stretches along the Keys. It supports over 6,000 different marine species, making it feel like an underwater rainforest right off Florida's coast, rivaling anything in the Caribbean. Iconic sites include Molasses Reef and Looe Key, where active restoration efforts outplant corals and improve water quality. The reef tract runs from Dry Tortugas towards Stewart, sheltering the Keys and powering a massive diving and fishing economy. Climate change and water quality issues threaten this unique ecosystem, making conservation efforts critical for its survival. Number 26. Florida has the most golf courses in the United States. The Sunshine State's year-round warm weather and relatively flat terrain make it perfect for golf course development. With over 1,000 golf courses scattered across Florida, it's a golfer's paradise where you can play every day of the year in perfect conditions. From panhandle sandhills to coastal resort layouts, golf is woven into Florida's recreational landscape. Courses vary from water-lined resort loops to tour-tested tracks like TPC Sawgrass, one of the country's top resort destinations. The golf industry contributes billions to Florida's economy while providing recreation for residents and tourists year-round. Number 27. The Ocala National Forest sits on ancient sand ridges reaching up to 61 meters above sea level. This area, often referred to as the Big Scrub, encompasses approximately 101,000 hectares of Ocala sand pine, the largest concentration of sand pine in the world. These massive sandy highlands create a unique desert-like ecosystem of pine scrub and even cacti, like finding a hidden desert inside a state most people picture as swamps and wetlands. This sandy landscape in central Florida feels more like Arizona than the typical image of the Sunshine State, and many species found here exist nowhere else on Earth, making this area a biological treasure. Number 28. Florida's vibrant coastline isn't just a tourist attraction. It's home to the majority of the state's residents. In fact, about 70% of Florida's population lives near the coastline, drawn by the ocean views, recreational opportunities, and economic prospects these areas offer. This massive concentration along the beaches and waterfront areas creates some of the most densely populated coastal regions in America. The arc runs from Miami and Fort Lauderdale up through Tampa Bay and Jacksonville, following the coastline where cooling sea breezes and waterfront access draw millions of residents. Number 29. Florida experiences more hurricanes than any other state in the United States. Since 1851, nearly 300 hurricanes have made their way to U.S. soil. Of those, 120 have hit Florida's coast. Florida's location between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico makes it a natural target for hurricanes. Surrounded by warm waters on both sides, with over 2,000 kilometers of coastline and a narrow peninsula jutting into the tropics, Florida's long history with hurricanes shows up in construction requirements like impact glass, storm shutters, and reinforcement straps. The state's hurricane season runs from June through November, with peak activity typically occurring in August and September. Number 30. Payne's Prairie Preserve State Park near Gainesville is Florida's first state preserve and the only place in the state where you can see wild bison and Spanish-descended horses roaming free. This unique ecosystem changes dramatically with seasons, transforming from a massive lake filled with fish and water birds during wet seasons to grassland where wild animals roam during dry periods. The preserve offers a diverse environment with significant historical and cultural sites, representing what much of Florida looked like before European settlement. The preserve supports over 270 bird species and serves as a crucial wildlife corridor connecting other protected areas in north-central Florida. Number 31. In Florida, many homes and public buildings have outward opening doors because of the state's strong winds and hurricanes. Doors that open outward offer more resistance to wind-borne projectiles, as heavy objects picked up by high-speed hurricane winds have less chances of smashing through outward opening doors. The outward swinging design helps doors resist the immense wind pressure and debris of a storm by forcing them more tightly into their frames. While this feature is a standard fire safety measure in public buildings nationwide, Florida's building codes specifically leverage it for hurricane protection. Number 32. The Crystal River produces about 1.1 billion liters of spring water daily at exactly 22 degrees Celsius. This constant warm temperature makes it a winter paradise for hundreds of manatees, who migrate here to stay warm when the Gulf of Mexico gets too cold for these gentle giants during Florida's winter months. The spring system creates a refuge where manatees gather in large numbers. Crystal River is also known as the manatee capital of the world. This is because it's the only place in the United States where you can legally swim with manatees in their natural habitat. At number 33. Florida has 2 time zones. The Sunshine State is split between Eastern Time in most of the state and Central Time in the Western Panhandle. This unique situation means you can drive from one time zone to another without leaving Florida. The Panhandle stretches almost to Mobile Bay, where landscapes and culture can feel more deep south than subtropical peninsula, with longleaf pines, rivers, and seafood towns reflecting the region's distinct geographic character. The time zone boundary roughly flows through the Apalachicola River, creating interesting situations where neighboring communities operate on different times, affecting everything from business hours to television schedules. Number 34. According to the Florida Climate Center, Florida has a higher frequency of tornadoes per 100,000 square kilometers than any other state. While Kansas gets attention for tornado activity, the Sunshine State experiences more tornadoes relative to its size. Most Florida tornadoes are weaker and shorter-lived than their Midwest cousins, often waterspouts that briefly come ashore, or small tornadoes spun up by sea breeze storms and tropical systems. The sheer number adds up, making it another quirk of Florida's energetic ocean-fed atmosphere. Florida averages about 66 tornadoes annually, although most of them are weak EF0 or EF1 storms. Number 35. The Peace River is a treasure hunt for fossil enthusiasts. The constantly flowing water washes up prehistoric shark teeth, including massive megalodon teeth from millions of years ago. Along Florida's riverbanks, you can spot fossilized shark teeth from megalodons, sharks so massive they grew bigger than some modern boats. Fossils are found by sifting through riverbed gravel and are often concentrated in areas exposed during low water levels. The river cuts through fossil-rich sediments, constantly exposing new specimens that tell the story of Florida's ancient underwater past. The Peace River flows 171 kilometers from Polk County to Charlotte Harbor, draining much of south-central Florida while continuously revealing these ancient fossils. Number 36. The longest continuous pedestrian walkway in the world is the 7.2-kilometer Bayshore Boulevard along Upper Hillsborough Bay in Tampa, Florida. This waterfront path offers unobstructed views of Tampa Bay while providing safe space for joggers, walkers, and cyclists. It's a unique Florida landmark showcasing the state's commitment to outdoor recreation, featuring a palm-lined curve along Hillsborough Bay with historic homes, skyline views, and dolphins if you're lucky. Built in the early 1900s, Bayshore Boulevard is one of America's first waterfront corridors designed for leisure and recreation. Number 37. The Suwannee River looks like black coffee flowing through the landscape because of tannins leached from ancient cypress trees. This dark, tea-colored water creates a beautiful contrast with Florida's typically crystal-clear springs, giving parts of the Sunshine State an almost otherworldly appearance. The Suwannee rises in Georgia's Okefenokee Swamp and flows through Florida, alternating between tea-colored sections where tannins dominate and jewel blue areas where clear springs burst in. The 396-kilometer river supports diverse wildlife, including Gulf sturgeon, manatees, and countless bird species along its meandering path to the Gulf of Mexico. At number 38. The world's smallest police station is located in Carabel, Florida. In the early 1960s, tourists kept sneaking long-distance calls on the police department's phone, which was just a call box bolted to a wall on US 98. At the same time, the town's telephone man hated seeing officers get drenched whenever they answered in the rain. His solution was simple. When a pharmacy replaced its old phone booth, he moved the police phone into it. That phone booth became the world's smallest police station and has gained worldwide attention, representing the quirky, practical spirit found throughout small-town Florida communities. Number 39. St. Augustine is the oldest continuously settled city in the United States. Founded in 1565, this historic Florida city predates Jamestown and Plymouth by decades. Walking through St. Augustine is like stepping back in time, with Spanish colonial architecture and narrow cobblestone streets that have witnessed over 450 years of continuous American history. The Castillo de San Marcos, built from coquina stone in the late 1600s, is the oldest masonry fort in the continental U.S. Its walls absorbed cannon fire instead of breaking, a genius bit of Spanish engineering. Just down the way is Aviles Street, the oldest street in America. St. Augustine's strategic location on Florida's northeast coast made it a crucial Spanish stronghold for centuries. Number 40. The Florida Keys aren't traditional islands. They're exposed tops of an ancient coral reef that died millions of years ago. These 42 islands stretch 182 kilometers from Miami to Key West, connected by bridges including the famous 7-mile bridge spanning 10.9 kilometers over open water. Walking along any Keys shoreline means stepping on fossilized coral that once teemed with tropical fish. The Overseas Highway follows Henry Flagler's original 1912 railroad route. Each key represents a different section of this ancient reef system, creating a unique chain of limestone islands extending into the Straits of Florida. Number 41. Florida's geographic location makes it extremely vulnerable to rising sea levels and flooding. As one of the flattest states with extensive low-lying coastal areas, the Sunshine State faces unique challenges from climate change. Many Florida communities already experience increased flooding during high tides. Miami sits atop the Biscayne Aquifer, where water can bubble up through porous limestone, requiring innovative solutions like pumps, raised roads, and smarter drainage systems. Coastal communities throughout Florida are investing billions in adaptation strategies to address rising seas and increased storm surge penetration. Number 42. Devil's Den is a prehistoric underground spring hidden inside a collapsed cave system. You can snorkel and dive in crystal clear water 16 meters underground at a constant 22 degrees Celsius. It's like swimming inside Earth itself, with ancient limestone formations surrounding you in this unique Florida diving destination. The spring represents the karst landscape perfectly, where slightly acidic rainwater has dissolved limestone over thousands of years, creating caverns and underground rivers. Devil's Den is part of a larger cave system extending for kilometers underground, with water so clear it glows in shades of blue. Sunlight pours through the cave opening, illuminating limestone walls, hanging stalactites, and tangled tree roots. The result is a breathtaking underground scene, making Devil's Den one of Florida's most beautiful natural springs. Number 43. Florida boasts one of the most robust and versatile economies in the United States, with a $1.7 trillion gross state product (GSP) as of 2024. If the Sunshine State were an independent country, its economy would rank among the world's top 15 nations by gross domestic product. Outdoor recreation alone, driven by 175 state parks, generated an estimated $58 billion in 2024. The broader travel and tourism sector also injected nearly $128 billion into Florida's economy, setting a new record as Florida welcomed 143 million travelers. Florida's economy benefits from year-round agricultural production, a massive tourism industry, space exploration at Kennedy Space Center, and growing technology sectors. Number 44. Florida produces about 65% of America's phosphate, the key ingredient in fertilizer, helping feed crops not just in the U.S. but around the world. The Sunshine State sits on massive deposits of phosphate rock formed millions of years ago when ancient seas deposited layers of marine organisms in what's now called Bone Valley. The Bone Valley Mining District, also known as the Central Florida District or the Florida Land Pebble District, is centered in Polk County, Florida, and extends into Hardee, Hillsborough, and Manatee counties. This hidden industry transforms Florida's landscape through extensive mining operations that have operated since the 1880s. Number 45. The Butler Chain of Lakes near Orlando is a collection of 13 interconnected lakes spanning more than 20 square kilometers. Formed by karst topography, sinkholes, and dissolved limestone, the chain is known for its linked navigable channels. It's a haven for ospreys, alligators, and countless bird species, while also being famous for bass fishing and boating. The lakes range from shallow, weedy environments to deeper, clearer waters supporting different species. The shoreline is lined with upscale communities and golf courses, making it one of the most scenic lake systems in Florida. At number 46, the Hillsborough River flows 87 kilometers from the Green Swamp all the way to Tampa Bay in Florida. This historic river powered the region's first major industries during the 1800s and still supplies clean drinking water to millions of people in the Tampa Bay region. The Hillsborough River State Park protects 12 square kilometers of swamps, oak hammocks, and pine flatwoods along the river. Visitors can canoe beneath towering cypress trees and hike shaded trails. The park also has a viewing area for the Hillsborough's Class II Rapids, one of the only rivers in Florida where you'll find white water. Number 47. Over 31% of Florida's land is wetlands, the highest percentage of any state in America, making it one of the most water-saturated places in the country. 90% of those wetlands are freshwater, with only 10% being saltwater marshes and mangroves. That's roughly 44,500 square kilometers of swamps, marshes, and wet prairies scattered across the Sunshine State. These vast wetlands act like nature's kidneys, filtering pollutants from water before it reaches Florida's springs, rivers, and coasts. The wetlands also serve as massive sponges during hurricanes, absorbing storm surge and reducing flooding inland. From the Everglades to cypress domes to coastal salt marshes, Florida's extensive wetlands represent one of America's greatest natural water treatment systems while supporting countless species. Number 48. Florida is home to the most diverse and interesting barrier island system in the world, according to coastal geologists. The Sunshine State's barrier islands create a protective shield along both the Atlantic and Gulf coasts, absorbing wave energy that would otherwise pound the mainland. Beach dunes and grasses on barrier islands absorb wave energy before the wave hits the mainland. This generally means smaller storm surge and less flooding on the coast. Florida's barrier islands range from massive systems like the Outer Banks-style chains along the east coast to the smaller, more numerous islands dotting the Gulf Coast. Number 49. The Ichetucknee River is only about 9.7 kilometers long, making it one of the shortest rivers in the United States. However, this tiny Florida river produces about 802 million liters of spring water every day. The river is famous for its spring-fed crystal-clear water, with visibility often reaching over 30 meters. Divers and snorkelers describe it like looking through glass. The river flows entirely from spring sources, creating a constant temperature of 22 degrees Celsius that makes it perfect for swimming, snorkeling, and tubing year-round in the Sunshine State. The Ichetucknee is fed by 9 major springs that rise from the Floridan aquifer's vast underground cave system, sending clear water through hardwood hammocks and cypress swamps. Number 50. Florida's unique geographic location makes it America's gateway to the Caribbean and South America. The Sunshine State handles about 1/3 of all U.S. exports to Latin America, from Miami to Port Everglades to Jacksonville. On the air side, Miami International Airport stands as the leading U.S. gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean, handling more flights to the region than any other airport in the country. This constant flow of people and goods makes Florida a crossroads where North America meets the tropics. And there you have it, 50 amazing geography facts from the state of Florida. If this gives you a new way to see the Sunshine State, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share the video with a fellow geography enthusiast. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to comment which fact surprised you most and what state you want explored next.